Hello, welcome to When I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank, and I'll be sitting here talking to you for a few minutes. As usual, I'm wearing clothes. I'm wearing a black pink graphic shirt. I forgot that I hadn't uploaded a podcast because I've been uploading so many videos. Because a video is a video, but I consider the gameplay videos almost podcasts too because I talk on half of them. But anyway, here I am. So I was at the store and bacon costs more than a steak. I thought that was very strange that you could get what I don't know what like what's it called I don't know what the different cuts of steak are, but like a big. It was like this big chunk of steak that if when you cooked it you could probably feed at least two people. God, I wish I knew what the cut of steak was. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it was a huge piece of steak. It was like 2 pounds, I think, right? 2 pounds of meat, and then it cost like because it was at Amazon, so it cost like $7. And then the bacon was like $10. That didn't make sense to me. I mean, bacon's good, but you're literally getting like 10 times as much meat for $6, and then the bacon's okay. Yeah, so I don't understand why bacon is such a I don't know. Bacon's like the diamond of meats, I guess. I have to figure this out though, because it was really, I don't know, making me lose sleep. I'm waking up like at 3 a.m. Why does bacon cost $4 more than the steak? I mean, they both taste good, and now that I think about it, I guess the bacon does taste better. Okay, I guess I just answered my own question. Oh man, like at my job, I do, I'm a janitor. I do, the graveyard shift. I clean a warehouse. And every day at my job, there's someone calling in sick, or showing up late. And apparently they'll ask other people to come in. And so I got a text where they were asking me. And I just got the text, and the text was from, yesterday. I mean, obviously I didn't go in, and I wouldn't have gone in anyway. Listen, it's at my job. It's the same people are late every day. The same people call out all the time. If I was in charge, I'd fire those people. Obviously I would replace them first. So if you're late, let's say you work 4 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever, and you're late consistently 2 of those days, and it's the same reason, traffic. So if you can't leave 20 minutes earlier, you're not smart enough to work with me. Fire that person. And then the people who don't come in, what's the point? Just hire someone else and give them a similar schedule, and then you slowly just give that person less days until they quit. Because I don't know, because it might be hard to fire people these days because people these days are on all these meds. The last 14 public shootings, at least that the news has covered, the last 14 of them. All of them have had a few things in common, and one of them, the person was on some antidepressant medication, and just other mood stabilizing medications. And then the other thing they had in common is they were, part of the alphabet community. You know what I'm saying? So I understand why you might not want to fire someone, because if that person's unstable, I get it. But you can hire a new person, and then since this person's always late, always calling in sick, you just slowly reduce your days, and you have a right to reduce your days. Well, like, since you're late twice a week, we're just gonna give you whatever 3 shifts, and then after a while, this person's gonna quit because this person, because obviously the person doesn't like the job. If you're late to your job every day, or calling in sick every other week, you either feel very comfortable, you probably have some drug habit or something, like you're doing something that you value more than your paycheck, and that's usually drugs, or it's usually like you drink so much you just don't feel good the next day. Like there's something going on that in your life is more important than work. So, don't put it on me to pick up the slack for other people, because I'm not. I mean, like, I've sometimes done like a graveyard shift just because that's what I signed up for, but I'm not coming in to help out the day crew. Fuck that. Especially when I see that it's every day someone's calling in sick or someone's late. This problem goes up top. You got to fire those people, but I'm not in charge, and I'm not going to tell them how to do their job, but that's what should happen. But I'm smart. Anyway, so I was on Twitter because I've had an article I wanted to read you because I thought it was funny. Ignore my wanting to have sex with Licio post that's been up there for a while. Man, like some women just know how to look sexy, and Licio is really good with her lips and her eyes. Especially like when she's on stage, she'll like bite her lip, lick her lips, or wink at the camera. Like fan service with me goes a long way, and that's why I like her so much, because she's looking her lips at me and she's winking at me, right? Just kidding. I'm not one of those idiots. But anyway, I did want to show you some this. I died laughing. This is real. I guess there's a book. A Star Wars book, The Secrets of the Clone Troopers, includes a first look at Sister, a trans woman clone trooper. What is going on? What? When one of our kind expressed her gender identity differently than her fellow troopers, she I can't read. Featured she'd have to hide. Oh, that's a typo. Okay. I'm gonna read that, but I'm gonna read it correctly. When one of our kind expressed her gender identity differently than her fellow troopers, she figured she'd have to hide who she truly was inside. Fortunately, her brothers in the 7th Sky Corps gave her the name Sister as a constant reminder that she belonged. and the stormtrooper is wearing trans colors. This is Star Wars. This is why Disney Star Wars sucks. Way back when Disney first bought Star Wars and Kathleen Kennedy was wearing the Force is Female shirt, that's when I stopped liking Star Wars. And I'm not exaggerating. You can listen back to podcasts I've done around that time. And I was like, yeah, the Force isn't female. I mean, the Force isn't male. The Force doesn't have a gender. The Force is everything. Every living thing. That's what the Force is. If the Force was only female, the Force would be half as strong. If the Force was only male, it'd be half as strong. The Force is literally the life force of every living creature, and you tap into that, and that's your power. And that's what the Force is. So when you have a person who thinks the Force is female, and then she hires all these crappy people, like you get stuff like this years later, where you have a stormtrooper, a clone stormtrooper, wearing modern day American SJW bullshit, pride, whatever, trans colors. This is not Star Wars. This is just an activist self-inserting himself into a story. Because the person who wrote this, I'm not pulling up his picture, it's just an ugly trans dude. I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's a man with a mental disorder who's trying to be a woman, and he has like a trans flag on his arm and wears a rainbow bullshit. This is what happens when you have activists doing, like, in charge of your entertainment. You watch Star Wars because it's a space opera. It's a space fantasy. It's samurais in space. It's like wizards in space. Combine a wizard and a samurai, and then like futurize it. You got a Jedi. That's what it is. Jedis are space wizards. Clone troopers are. First of all, you would never have a clone. I mean, all the clone troopers were made with, the highest quality alien technology. Bred to be the best soldier, bred to obey orders, bred to be a cool, calm, and collective under fire. You wouldn't have, if you did have a defect, it would be thrown away. They would know that this, we made one that's a fag. They throw it away. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen come out of Star Wars. This is worse than those 3 movies they made. I don't know, like, I don't know what they're called. Like, I know the first one's called The Force Awakens. I forgot because they were so bad. This is worse than those 3 movies. You can't put modern day stuff in fantasy. You realize that, right? Fantasy isn't the real world. Like, you do put some stuff in fantasy that's in the real world, like, gravity. The sun comes up, the sun goes down, but you don't put this stuff, And I know I'm not a famous writer, but I've written, you do put some stuff from modern day into your writing, like, people eat food. People go to sleep, but you don't put gay bullshit in a sci-fi fantasy. This is laughable. I mean, like, these people aren't being serious. These people don't care about Star Wars. Obviously, look at the past 10 years. I think it's been, look at the past, 12 years. They've never been serious about Star Wars. After The Force Awakens, I completely stopped. Because I'm like, that was a horrible movie. And once again, you can go back and listen to my podcast. I'm like, this movie wasn't good. I'm not one of those people that took 7 years to go, oh my God, it sucks. No, it sucked when Kathleen Kennedy was wearing the Force's female shirt. That's when it sucked. This is embarrassing. I mean, like, I'm embarrassed for people who still like Star Wars. A trooper, now the one thing they did get right about this tranny thing is that, like, it looks like a dude with dreads, because I've never seen a tranny that can pass. Okay, so at least I got that right. But, like, so you're telling me they had trans colors in Star Wars? Like, there's no gay shit in Star Wars. There's no sex in Star Wars. In period. There's no gender identity and stuff. Like, that stuff doesn't exist in Star Wars. It just doesn't. But you know why? Because it's for kids. Star Wars is for kids. I know. Then why do, like, men in their 50s like it? Because they liked it back when they were a kid. And they still like it now. Star Wars is for kids. Why do you think they have Ewoks? Because kids like that shit. Why do you think they have R2-D2 and C-3PO? Because kids like that. Jar Jar Binks, kids like that. Yikes. You know what I'm saying? That's why like Obi-Wan Kenobi can like take on General Grievous and like 300 other of his troops and kick their ass because it's for kids. That's just how it is. But like these people who don't understand Star Wars or don't care about Star Wars are making Star Wars, and this is why it's like this. My child is not allowed to watch Disney Star Wars. Shit like this. You want your kid? Do you want to have to explain to your kid what a trans stormtrooper is or clone trooper is? No, you don't. You just don't. You don't, as a parent, you don't want your child to be exposed to this bullshit. They forgot who Star Wars is for. I mean, they forgot when they first bought it. But this is just ridiculous. And I don't know who is this for? Because, if you're one of those activists, we already know that they don't spend money. And then we already know they don't watch Star Wars because every show they put out that's been gay has had horrible ratings. Like the Acolyte was like the worst rated, I think it was the worst rated Star Wars thing ever. And they canceled it because no one watched it. And like, you know what they said? The reason why it was canceled? Because like we're bigots. Okay. The show sucked. You made a show based on, I don't know what. It was just like space lesbians. Like, okay, like that's not interesting. So the Acolyte and now this. And what's going to have to happen is Disney, just keeps losing money on Star Wars. They're going to have to sell Star Wars. And the new people that buy Star Wars are going to have to like reboot it. I mean, because like this, I think this, because this is just the beginning. I bet you there's going to be, because these people don't stop. There's going to be like a, how like they got all those different flags. They got like 300 flags. There's going to be a storm trooper, clone trooper, whatever, with like every flag color on his uniform. There's going to be a clone trooper lesbian in whatever color the flag is. He's going to have that color. Blah 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 blah. And it's going to be cringe. It's not going to sell. And no one's going to buy this book or whatever, support this, and like they're going to call all of us bigots, racist, sexist, whatever. Instead, you should be calling your Star Wars fans because this isn't Star Wars, and so we're not going to support it. If you want a gay, trans, whatever, futuristic clone human, okay, you make up an original story in a original sci-fi setting and make everyone trans. That's fine. And if it's good, people will read it. But the thing is, you're inserting modern day stuff into a setting that doesn't have modern day stuff. I'm talking like modern day, stuff like this. Obviously, modern day stuff like food, water. Yeah, that's in Star Wars. But not this bullshit. Anyway, I've said enough. You guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Peace.